Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Ivy.
And this is
Toxic Waste of Time.
Hey folks, little heads up. This episode is going to be a two-parter. So just so you're not jump scared at the end when I come in and cut us off, this conversation hit a little snag. So we're going to do this in two parts. So first, let's do our icebreaker. Spin the wheel, Ivy. Ding, 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 ding.
All right, Katie. What is your relationship to Waffle House?
Oh, man. Well, I've lived in the South my whole life. So Waffle House is like the greasy, nasty, always open restaurant that like is the absolute last resort for food. Like if I'm starving to death and it's 2 a.m. and nothing else is open and there is no IHOP, I might be seen in a Waffle House. I do appreciate the jukebox. I have been on one really, really bad first date to a Waffle House.
Really?
Yeah.
Who made that decision? We're going to go to Waffle House?
It turns out he was not a winner, actually. Yes, it was like one of those internet blind dates, and I went and met him at a Waffle House. And then I found out that he didn't have a car, so we had to walk to our next location, which was like a bar across the street. And I was like, okay.
He sounds great.
He wasn't.
I can't believe you're not married to him now.
Yeah, wasn't so that's the association I have.
Okay.
With Waffle House.
All right.
What about you?
All right. Well, I have a little different relationship to Waffle House.
Okay.
I go there a lot because I ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I say this about McDonald's too. I'm currently carrying my McDonald's Happy Meal purse. And I get, oh, you must really love McDonald's. And I'm like, I don't really love McDonald's, but I have a lot of nostalgia for Happy Meals,
Yeah.
But when we were kids, McDonald's was a totally different thing. But anyway, so sometimes when you're out riding in smaller towns, you don't have many options. You've got McDonald's, Waffle House, and sometimes a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
So Waffle House is not going to be my first choice, obviously, for a place to go. But when it comes to an omelet and some hash browns, Waffle House is not bad. And I'm going to tell you, when I find a place that has turkey sausage, that's a winner for me.
I agree. I want to know what's in it, and I want that to be, if I'm going to eat a meat, it better be a bird or a fish.
All the way.
If you're going to have a hot dog, I'm down for a vegetarian hot dog because I know what's in that.
I've never had a vegetarian hot dog because I'll eat a turkey hot dog. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I can eat those now. But yeah, I was vegan for a long time, so my vegan hot dog game is strong. Well, you got to bring your own stuff to the 4th of July sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. So my husband goes to Waffle House every morning when I travel, like when I'm away for the weekend. He'll go to Waffle House Saturday and Sunday morning.
All right.
And he always experiences drama at Waffle House.
Really? Is he like a Waffle House drama magnet?
Yeah. He's always got some sort of story to tell me about Waffle House.
Because it's like, it's a portal into chaos.
It absolutely is.
Like, it's just a place of craziness and people that never sleep. It's like the Twilight Zone, but you can get a waffle.
Anytime. So if you're new here, welcome. On Toxic Waste of Time, we discuss all things relationship.
Yeah. From how you relate to birds, I eat them sometimes. Are they real or are they drones? To your relationship with the cashier at the grocery store or your racist Aunt Bertha.
This week,
Fuck that bitch.
You're racist Aunt Bertha. She's a bitch.
Fucking shut up, Bertha.
At least it's not your Aunt Bethany. This week, we're going to look at how mass media impacts our views on relationships.
Yeah. So, Ivy, did you have any early ideas on relationships based on what you saw on TV and the movies as a kid?
Absolutely, I did. I have always been obsessed with sitcoms. I love sitcoms. And so, of course, I thought that all mothers-in-law were the absolute worst. And husbands and wives always bickered, but in a hilarious way. And they always made up right before bed. All friends were always friends for life, and siblings were the best of friends and the worst of enemies. But as I entered my teen years and movies started playing more of a role, it got a little confusing. But I think the worst thing I did was start watching General Hospitals. Soap operas will fuck you up, and 13-year-olds have no clue what their adult relationships will be like. So watching soap operas,
I hear that. I hear that for sure. You said something I was going to comment on, and the siblings. So I'm an only child, and the only concept I had of what sibling relationships are like was from TV and movies.
Yeah.
So I just had no idea, and I got in trouble a few times, like, mouthing off and saying some shit to my friend's little brother, and then all of a sudden she's like beating the shit out of me, and I'm like, what? You just said the same thing to him, and I did not understand.
Oh, no, yeah, I can talk about my people.
It's only okay. Exactly. So that was interesting. But yeah, I was a Disney Renaissance girly. So the Lion King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, etc. So naturally, I thought that someday my prince would come and we would fall in love at first sight or whatever. I was boy crazy from the first day of kindergarten, pretty much.
Wow.
I had a boy propose to me with a plastic ring on the playground, and I was like, perfect. I guess I will grow up and marry him someday.
I was terrified of the little boys and would cry and run away from them when they wanted to flirt with me.
No, I was like, let's get in early, man. Like, let's plant some seeds for a future husband. That sounds really dirty, but that's I was like, I spent a lot of my life waiting for the good part to start once I finally met the one, a lot of all of my 20s, I would say I was in that mentality of just like, I just got to meet my person and then I'll be happy, It wasn't how it works.
No.
But yeah, so I watched Friends and Seinfeld, and those actually fucked up my ideas of romantic relationships pretty badly.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah. I knew that the characters on Seinfeld were supposed to be assholes, sort of.
What?
But like, I sort of understood that they were supposed to be assholes.
I never thought they were supposed to be assholes. Wow.
Yes.
No idea.
Are you kidding,
no.
right? They're assholes.
I'm not kidding.
They're deplorable people. Jerry obsesses over every stupid thing about the women that he dates and like objectifies them, and like he dumps them for the dumbest reasons. He's a shithead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you watch it again now, I think it'll become clear. But yeah, anyway, at least on Friends, they were kind of decent friends to each other, except for all the stupid farcical lies and cover-ups for the sake of comedy, I guess. But like when it came down to it, that show had some heart. Like if they had a fight or whatever, they would make up, and that was at least decent. But then in 2005, I read Twilight. So yeah.
Both Friends and Twilight come up later in my list of the
yes, they do.
#couple goals couples that are not couple goals.
Right.
All right. From soap operas to romance novels, teen novels, sitcoms, TV dramas, big screen movies, and of course, the Mac Daddy of false dreams of love and romance. Your Lifetime Hallmark movies where everyone is rich. A beautiful freelance photographer goes on a holiday, meets a miniature cow farmer, and falls in love, only to find out he's a recent widower with 6 kids who do not want a new mommy. Well, that's fine, because you don't want to be their mommy. But the whole thing ends happily ever after with a giant family pillow fight.
I want to know about the miniature cows. Like,
I want to meet a miniature cow farmer.
Right? Like, miniature horses are the cutest thing, so miniature cows have to be cute, too.
Yeah.
I want to go there. But yeah, that's not real life, you guys. But shit, I love those movies. I love to watch them. Like, I love to take an edible and then watch them and make fun of them. It's a tradition.
Okay.
That it is not Christmas in my house until I watch The Christmas Prince, which is one of the worst worst Christmas movie. Like it's so bad.
Okay.
And then I love that horrible Vanessa Hudgens ones where she plays like 3 different characters. Those
I
are
know
hysterical. Oh my God, they're so bad.
I haven't seen a Hallmark movie since Judith Light was the star of all of them.
I don't even know who the fuck that is. Vanessa Hudgens or I'm out. The funny part is though, like, you have to take a gummy. You will not make it through unless you're high. Like it has to be a high on Christmas activity.
I'm usually high when I'm watching anything, so that would not be a
same.
problem. Carrie Smith is a professor at the University of Mississippi, and she recently did a study on Hallmark movies which discusses cultivation theory. To quote her, cultivation theory argues that what you see is kind of what you believe in, that media cultivates belief over time. The more we consume media, and that media consistently provides the same information, the more we internalize what we are seeing. Yeah.
And I think that goes for way more media than just Hallmark movies. But yeah. What about every show on the WB in the 90s? I don't know if you were there. I was there. Dawson's fucking Creek.
Never watched Dawson's Creek.
Oh my God. That show fucked me up. I loved it, but it fucked me up.
Were those teenage shows on the WB?
Yes.
See, in the 90s, I was raising children.
Right.
So I wasn't.
I was a child.
Yeah. No,
so.
I mean, I didn't have kids until the mid 90s, but I got married in 93. So I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, see, I was in 4th grade.
But we did watch the hell out of some 90210.
I missed 90210, but I did love the OC. Definitely Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that kind of stuff. I watched Buffy mostly later, but that kind of stuff. Vampire Diaries was also later, and that show was trash in a good way.
I didn't watch any of those.
Fairy tales, love songs, music videos, and now we have fucking AI. So how do we even know what's real and what's not?
Well, when we're watching things on TV and in the movies, it's not real.
What?
Yeah, none of it's real. Not even reality TV.
Especially not reality TV. But I wondered when I was looking at this script, have you heard of this, The Allegory of the Cave?
No.
Okay. So Plato, the Greek philosopher guy, right? He had this story in one of his books describing like a situation where there's these prisoners that are chained up in a cave. And it's like since birth, they're prisoners in this cave. Behind them is a fire, and in front of them is the cave wall, and they can't turn their head.
Okay.
So they're just staring at this cave wall, and whenever somebody walks between them and the fire, they get a shadow, right? And so they see this on the cave wall, and that just becomes their reality.
Okay.
Because that's all that they've ever been exposed to. That's what they think is real, right? And so then in the story, one of the prisoners finally goes free and goes outside and realizes, oh shit, like the shadow isn't the thing that's real. There's a whole other thing, the object that makes the shadow. And then he tries to come back and explain it to his bros in the cave, and they're like, you're fucking lying, So, yeah, that kind of made me think about that and how, like, if you're only exposed to something that's highly curated, like romance on TV, soap operas, etc., then of course that's what you're going to think is real.
Romance novels, even.
Of course.
Like that crazy person I used to work for, that's all she ever read. And so nobody was ever good enough for her because there wasn't anything like
romance novels have paid my bills.
Sure.
As an audiobook narrator. But they are problematic a lot of the time.
For sure. I also think that a lot of this stuff has led to people being disappointed in their real life relationships, like we just said.
Yeah.
In TV and movies, etc., there are stark differences. Either he beats the shit out of her or he's fucking perfect. There's no representation of everyday life with real life couples, families, or friends because nobody's going to want to watch that.
Yeah. And I mean, some shows do better than others, but it's definitely you got to know that you're looking at something that's designed for drama.
Right.
Or for laughs
Absolutely.
or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not designed to show you a real portrayal of what life is actually like.
No, and I think instead of expecting life to be like that, it's healthier for you to hope that I can meet a guy like that.
I guess.
Or hope
but
that
it depends.
I can have a relationship like that.
Well, I'll explain a little bit more about that later.
Okay.
So another real issue in the media sort of molding our idea of relationships, we need to look at the idealization as well as normalization, right? Mm-hmm. So we start watching Disney movies at a very young age, and they use words like true love, and they show you this perfect couple and this perfect love, and so that's what we think we want. But even reality shows, right? They try to tell us that they're showing the real world, but those are possibly the most fake and misleading TV shows out there.
Yeah, and I think we've watched a lot of reality TV, and when you start watching a show versus 6 seasons in, you can see later on in the show the producers making things happen. Like at the beginning, I feel like everyone seems normal. But then all of a sudden, they've got to have content. They have to have something that keeps the people in. And so they make up these scenarios and try to make them look real, and it just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you remember The Real World, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you there for like season 1 of The Real World?
I watched season 1 of The Real World. I don't remember a lot about it, but I watched, I think I watched multiple seasons of The Real World. Mm-hmm. When was that? Do you remember?
That was, let's look it up.
Was it in the
pretty
90s?
Early? Because I was not supposed to be watching it, but I was watching it.
I know I was grown. I was adult enough to be able to watch The Real World.
It says May 21st, 1992 was the first episode of The Real World.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So also another thing about all these, TV shows and movies and Disney even, it's always a man and a woman.
Yeah.
So kids who are starting to think about romantic relationships but maybe are attracted to the same sex, they could get the idea that what they want is weird and unrealistic. And so they often wind up hiding who they really are, or they seek out harmful and unfulfilling relationships. And it's kind of like Snoop Dogg, who I love. I forgive him for this. He got upset because he took his grandkids to the movies and there was a lesbian couple in there, and he didn't want to have to explain that to them. And to him and everyone else who says that, what about explaining to the children who are realizing that they are not straight? How about letting them feel normal?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about you feeling normal all the time. We got to let everybody feel normal.
Everybody needs to feel accepted for who they are. I will say, I was babysitting recently, and those kids were watching some cartoon I'd never fucking heard of. And there was a healthy portrayal of a gay character on the show. He was just one of the character's friends. He was gay. It wasn't his whole personality, but it was there. I believe there was also a non-binary character on that show that was just kind of, it was part of the team. They were part of the team, this character. And I was really pleased to see that. But I do think that family, I know them well, and they're very progressive. So it's not going to be every household that you see that stuff. But the more, representation in the media is very, very important. Very, very important. Those harmful and unfulfilling relationships. So how about some of the famous love stories that are actually 100% toxic tales of toxicity? I mentioned Twilight already.
Right.
But starting with the obvious, we have Disney princesses. We could honestly do a whole episode on Disney princesses potentially being a toxic waste of time, but who would I even be without Ariel? Those movies made me want to sing, perform, and ultimately led me to get into theater and acting, and now I'm a whole-ass working actor. This is my livelihood. And if I had not, at an early age, been exposed to that music and that movie, I don't know how I would have ended up in the same place. Yeah.
Disney movies also tend to promote a stereotypical male-dominated relationship type. The princess is usually pretty, but weak, rich, but submissive. The prince is always super muscular, but also with a tiny waist, and strong, and most of the time he has to rescue the princess.
Yeah. They're getting better about this in more recent Disney movies, but I'm definitely not a Disney adult. Like, I kind of haven't watched a Disney movie in like 10 years, so I don't know.
Well, and I had boys.
I hear they're getting better.
I had boy children,
yes.
so we didn't really watch all of the, the Disney princess type movies. But
Yeah, wasn't their thing.
I did have an experience with some high school boys who thought that they were too cool for school, and I'm not even kidding. These kids were thug wannabes in my house, and I was somewhere in the house. He had a room full of friends, and I heard something, and I went, "What? What is that?" And I went in and I opened the door, and these are kids ranging from 14 to 17, okay, boys watching Frozen. And I opened the door to my son's bedroom, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And Gorgie, bless his heart, looks up at me and goes, "What, Mrs. H? It's a really good movie."
It is a really good movie, but hot take, I hate Olaf.
I've never seen Frozen. I don't know the first thing.
How, you have a 5-year-old granddaughter. How have you never seen Frozen?
Because I don't have to watch movies with her. We took her to see the Paw Patrol movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even know what fucking Paw Patrol is. It's the freedom I have from not having children.
Yeah, that's a good freedom to have.
But one thing to mention here is that while there is nothing wrong with stereotypical female roles, we don't want girls growing up thinking they have to be the pretty and powerless female. Obviously, and I think this is kind of getting better. Like, it's trending towards more female empowerment. But didn't help me when I was a kid. Like, "Daddy, I love him" was about as headstrong as you could get.
Right.
And it was all about a 16-year-old mermaid falling in love with a man she has seen once who is not even the same species as her.
I feel like he's a lot older than her, too, but...
He does seem like he's older. And she is 16, and then they get married, and her dad's like, "Oh, my little girl." She's still a child.
Yeah.
Like, she... Anyway, distracted. But yeah, we don't want girls growing up thinking that that's like the only way to be, And one more thing before we move on from Disney. Disney movies almost always promote a pro-social message. Now, what does pro-social mean? I'm so glad you asked. And I'm so glad that Ivy explained it in the script, because I didn't know either. It means that they promote good deeds and kindness, which is nice.
Yes.
Who can argue with that, right? The good news is that the studies show that girls who were more interested in princesses at 4 to 5 years old actually showed more egalitarian attitudes about women, seeing women and men as equal at 10 to 11 years. Now, this was definitely me, because I was born a feminist. I just always thought it was bullshit that men were supposed to be better than women at anything. Just challenge accepted, And so I made that my whole personality for a minute as a little girl, just trying to make sure that I wasn't seen as this helpless princess.
Katie, have you ever heard of the Bechdel test?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I never had until I wrote this.
Oh.
And I was...
All right, well, what did you learn?
So I learned that the Bechdel test is, I'm going to read it. It is a measure of the representation of women in film and other fiction. And it's based on basically one thing. The film has to have, or show or book or whatever, has to have at least 2 women who have a conversation about something other than a man.
Yep. Seems pretty simple.
Yeah.
but you'd be shocked.
I looked at the
number
list
of things that fail.
I looked at the list. There's a very
Yeah.
long list. And yeah, I was shocked. I was, in fact. Disney movies don't always pass that. Just FYI.
Yeah. You know, I'm trying to think of Little Mermaid as my example, and there's really not a lot of female characters in that movie. So you've got Ariel and Ursula, and the only scene that they're in together is them talking about her trying to get the prince. Yeah. So.
Exactly.
Guess that fails.
Exactly.
Guess that fails.
Yeah.
Right. Like anytime that I ever wrote something, like I've written a lot of plays for my students, and scenes and stuff like that. I always tried to make sure that I could pass the Bechdel test. Made everything easier, actually, because then I just started making all of my characters in those scenes be gender non-specific, like anybody could play them, you know? And they're always talking about something that's not just a relationship, you know? It's not the center of their world.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, I wonder if there are girls under the age of, let's say, 20, who would pass the Bechdel tests just in their friendships.
Hopefully.
Because
for me, it was usually...
We always talked about boys.
Not. Yeah, it was. And I remember, like, there's diary entries. When I've looked at my old diaries as a teenager, there are entire diary entries where I'm like, ugh, I don't even have anything to talk about because I don't have a crush on anybody. And it's like, hello? You have a whole life. Like, that just perpetuates the idea that, like, the only thing that matters is being in a relationship with a boy.
Or even just, even if you're not talking about a boy that you like, it's still
it's just the other male character.
Boys.
Right. I saw a video today of Reese Witherspoon. Love
Me
her.
too.
Nashvilleian Reese Witherspoon. She said that it always pisses her off when she sees a script and there's like a woman character who suddenly turns to the man in the middle of the crisis and goes, "What do we do now?" And she's like, have you ever known a single fucking woman in your life that's ever not known what to do in a crisis? Like, why are we turning to the man to say, what do we do?
Yeah, it's
like,
in my family.
Like, bitch, I have a plan. You should have listened to me first. I already knew what we were doing.
My kids are grown adults and they still ask me what to do in situations.
That's because mommy knows. Like, I've been asked, what do we do 8 billion times by my students, you know? And sometimes my husband has anxiety, so do I. But when he gets like triggered from his anxiety, sometimes he'll get into a loop and he doesn't really know. He doesn't see any other solutions to the problem, you know? And so I just have to be like, well, let's just do this.
And half the time I'm not even real confident about my answer, but everybody else is flipping the fuck out. So I got to come up with something.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was with Reese on that for sure. Back to sitcoms.
I love sitcoms.
I do too, and I need to watch more of them because they're kind of comforting to me, actually, despite the fact that there are a lot of weird things that go on. So do they teach us that men are horrible, bitter people who hate their wives, resent their children, and regret everything? God, that's really dark. It's really dark.
I mean, so in the 80s, that's pretty much what happened on sitcoms. And before.
Married with Children, like that was it.
Married with Children, yeah. Horrible. Like that paragraph, I probably was thinking of Al Bundy.
Yeah. The Simpsons comes to mind as well. He loves Marge, but he hates Bart. And Bart is a little shit, so... Fair.
Right.
But yeah, so sitcoms, do they teach us that women overspend and overreact? I hate that phrase that women overreact because, and I think it was Taylor Swift, but she said that, you know, a man can react to something. A woman can only overreact.
Yeah, only.
And that's fucked. You know, everyone in the sitcoms hates their mother-in-law, which is true. Like, that is a pretty much constant.
Yep.
And that didn't happen to me in my marriage. My mother-in-law is the sweetest lady. I love her.
No, my dad loved my mom's mom.
Yeah.
My mom did not love my dad's mom, and that carried over, and I have guilt for it.
Oh, yeah. But definitely some of these shows did these things. But then there's others like The Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Home Improvement, Family Ties. I've never once seen Family Ties.
Really?
Nope. But I have seen a lot of The Brady Bunch. Like, I watched the shit out of The Brady Bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, was actually a pretty good example of, like, here's this blended family, and they're making it work.
Absolutely. And at a time where that was, the spouses had to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't be, but
they couldn't be divorced.
They really never talked about the spouses.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's just like they're, okay, we're moving on.
Yep.
Backstory minimal.
I do remember in the first episode that the girl's dad is dead. I don't remember them ever explaining the boy's mom.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder.
I mean, I want you to watch Family Ties. Please go watch Family Ties.
I can watch that. But yeah, so these type of sitcoms did not rely as much on the dysfunction and the confusing laugh tracks. Like, man insults wife and disregards child, and then there's laughter. Like, that's funny. I'm confused.
Yeah.
The laugh tracks sort of decided for us and then told us this is what's funny, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I watched a lot of comedies based in New York City, like Friends and Seinfeld and SNL, right? And as a kid, I just kind of thought that making jokes about New Jersey and the subway was the thing that makes it funny, you know? And that I have jokes that I've written in stupid... I was a writer as a child. I was always writing shit. And I would write down stories and stuff and have jokes about New Jersey. And I'm like a fucking 9-year-old that lives in Tennessee, you know? And never set foot in the... Yeah. So that sort of stuff absolutely rubs off.
Well, and on a side note here, sort of, I've been doing a bit of rewatching of the old shows that I watched as a kid. And wow is all I can say about the evolution of how we respond to bad behaviors. Yeah. Most of these shows would put most millennials and all of Gen Z out of their damn minds.
Well, challenge accepted. We need to do a millennial reacts.
You won't really, I haven't watched Family Ties in years, but I really don't think that Family Ties is going to cause as much shock for you as things like I've recently watched Too Close for Comfort, One Day at a Time. I actually was so excited when my husband found One Day at a Time on Tubi, but I personally was shocked and alarmed. Too Close for Comfort, the line, I couldn't believe it. They actually said, he's a transvestite?
Wow.
Yeah, like just... It was unbelievable things.
The only time you're allowed to say that word anymore is if you are in the cast of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, in the 80s, that was the word, and they were not being unkind about the individual. I'm telling you, going back and watching these shows of the things that used to be okay and are now not okay.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. I don't want to watch One Day at a Time again after just watching a couple of episodes. It was rapey. Like, so crazy.
But you see, like, how these things get perpetuated in our society through media and through just this exposure at a young age to thinking that it's okay.
But,
if we're looking at the cave wall and that's all that we see. So media has a responsibility to step the fuck up.
I have to take Mrs. Garrett's back on the R word because listen, I'm going to give you the scenario. Okay.
All right.
Growing up, I had 2 cousins. Their diagnosis was mental retardation. It was not an insult. It was an actual diagnosis back then. We've changed the terminology because people took that word and turned it into an insult. It was not meant that way in the episode, and it was not meant that way in my childhood towards my cousins. It was the medical terminology. And so when Mrs. Garrett made that comment, she was in her way, in the 80s language way, she was being kind to the young man. The girls didn't know that he was mentally disabled. I don't even know what the word for it is now.
They keep changing the terminology, which is confusing.
It's confusing,
to be fair.
yeah. But when I was a child,
but-
that's what it was. It was mental retardation. And so in that episode, when they said that word, it wasn't a slur. It wasn't yet a slur.
Right. Well, yet is the operative word.
Exactly.
You know?
And now it is. And that's
Like,
why Gen Z's heads would explode if they watched TV shows that I laughed my ass off as a kid.
Well, Gen Z still says that word in a mean way. Not all of them. Certainly the ones that I fussed at about it when I was a teacher. I would not allow that type of stuff going on because, like, and I would always explain it like, would you say that to this kid who we know is in your class and you know is autistic? Would you say that word to him? Would you call him that? You know? And they're like, oh my God, no, that'd be so mean. I'm like, then why are you saying it in any kind of way at all to mean a derogatory thing? Like, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, not to be too much on this topic, autistic kids and my two cousins, worlds apart. Autism is not the same.
Right. But in the vernacular.
Exactly. No, I get it.
Right. That's the way the kids
I get
will
what
say
you're
it.
saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, soap operas. Did you watch any day or nighttime soap operas? You said General Hospital.
I did. I watched General Hospital from the time I was 12 until like 2007. I was obsessed with General Hospital. And I also watched things like 90210 and Melrose Place. Those were nighttime soap operas. We watched the Desperate Housewives soap opera, but General Hospital was the soap opera. And basically, soap operas taught me that everyone sleeps with everyone else eventually. One of the most fucked up relationships I have ever known in any form of media was the love story of the century, Luke and Laura from General Hospital. And now before what I'm going to talk about, the look on your face, like when I was a kid, Luke and Laura were the most famous couple on the planet, okay? Besides Princess Di and Prince Charles. So what happened before I started watching it. But this perfect couple, the ones whose most anticipated TV wedding outside of Princess Diana and Prince Charles, Luke raped Laura the night they met.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw an article, Jeannie Francis, who played Laura, I saw an article that she was like, yeah, that was not cool. That was not a cool storyline. She went with it and they were together for 1,000 years, but she was a kid. And yeah, like I said, I didn't see it, but I know about it. And that is not couple goals, y'all.
Y'all know. Neither is Princess Diana, actually.
Well, that was never couple goals. Well, Princess Diana is the bomb. Prince Charles is the problem.
But there's a lot of couples that people are like, #couple goals, who are pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I knew about some of these. I have strong opinions about most of these. So you have the list here.
Okay, so
Sid and Nancy.
Sid and Nancy, yeah. Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols. Are you familiar with Sid and Nancy?
Yeah.
So, he killed her and then he killed himself. So they were it was a very abusive, but it's a romanticized, couples, Sid and Nancy. Although I have never seen anyone be like, oh, Sid and Nancy, couple goals, because they were heroin addicts.
Right. I think usually you hear that as like, oh, they're worse than Sid and Nancy, that it's become that kind of phrase now. But then you have Harley Quinn and the Joker, which is kind of romanticized and is certainly fucked up. I am not a huge Batman fan, but I can tell you just from the trailers.
Yeah. No.
That relationship ain't right.
That's not a couple goal at all.
No. Ross and Rachel from Friends. Listen, Rachel could have done way better than fucking Ross.
We were on a break!
Like that. Okay, but I will say, in Ross's defense, they were on a break. And then she went back on it and was like, oh, but you can't, but okay, you guys needed to have better communication, define the actual relationship. If you're on a break, does that mean you are broken up and you can da-da-da, right? It's just the miscommunication trope, and I hate it. And also, they're not, like, right for each other. I don't get it. I loved Friends. My couple that I loved on Friends was Monica and Chandler. Like, they were the cute ones.
Yeah.
Then you have Edward and Bella from fucking Twilight. All right. I'm going to try not to make this like a 30-minute rant. But here's the thing. I read Twilight when it came out in 2005. I read the entire series voraciously. I was obsessed because your girl is obsessed with vampires of all kinds. I love any vampire. Bad, good, doesn't matter. I'm into vampires. And reading this book, I was already like in a kind of toxic relationship with my boyfriend at the time. Then he left me. We broke up and he left. And then New Moon came out, and it's the whole thing of like, oh, he left her to like save her from whatever, and he really does love her. And that shit caused me to like hold a candle for this fucked up asshole that cheated on me. And it was not good. Edward and Bella's relationship is fucked up. It's toxic as hell. He's controlling. He watches her sleep. And also he's so much older than her. And then like, I don't even want to, you don't even know. You haven't seen Twilight,
Nope.
so you don't even know about Jacob.
I don't know
and
anything.
Oh, girl.
Mm-mm.
All right, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it because I think I'm going to make you watch Twilight as like your homework.
I can tell you, though, that in like 7th and 8th grade, it was my belief that if a boy didn't make me cry, it wasn't love.
Oh my God.
But I didn't have boyfriends in 7th and 8th grade. I only cried over the boys that I liked that didn't like me back.
Right.
So, yeah. So it was like, you know, because you listen to these songs on the radio and all these love songs are so sad and love hurts and people like it. And so it's what I thought. I thought you were, if you love someone, it's supposed to make you cry.
Yeah, no. No. So you've also mentioned this list, Blair and Chuck from Gossip Girl. I assume you've seen
Never.
Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl. Okay.
No,
yeah,
I looked up hashtag couple goals.
It's Blair and Chuck. There are really no couple goals on that show. Pretty much zero of them. The reason you watch Gossip Girl is for the outfits, the fashion, the costumes, insane, gorgeous. And everybody that plays on that show is hot. Every single person that they cast is hot. So what's not to like? I can watch it on mute. But, you know, Blair and Chuck were fucked up.
What about Sandy and Danny from Grease?
Oh my God. Listen. Okay. Hi. Editing voiceover Katie here. So here's what happened right as I was about to go into that extreme rant about Grease. Ivy's computer died and we had to stop recording and then finish the rest of the episode the following week. And that meant that we just had a lot longer conversation than we meant to have. So what we're going to do is split this into 2 parts. And you will get our opinions on particularly print and social media, and then sort of our wrap up at the end of next week's episode. So please join us next week for the second half of our conversation about media's influence on our own perceptions of relationships. This turned out to be kind of a deep topic, so thanks for giving us a little bit of breathing room to really discuss the whole thing. And if you hate it when we split episodes into 2 parts, I don't know, you can email us about it. If you love it and don't mind, you can email us about it. Please, somebody email us. Our email address is contact@toxicwasteoftime.com. You can also message us on social media. Our Instagram is Toxic Waste of Time, and our Facebook is Toxic Waste of Time. So yeah, please give us a shout, leave us a comment, share this episode with somebody who you have had conversations about toxic relationships in your favorite shows with. I wonder if anybody else watches Gossip Girl on mute. Anyways, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.